Welcome back to Hello Rose City. Shriners Children's Portland provides specialized pediatric care in the hospital and out. Caroline Scott is a recreational therapist with Shriners Children's and joins me now. Hi.
Hi, Lacey.
So let's talk about some of those programs that take place outside of the hospital. You just wrapped up a program on Mount Hood.
Yeah, so it's our annual adaptive ski and snowboard program, and it runs on weekends in April. And it's for patients of Shriners Children's. A lot of them have physical disabilities, some have other types of disabilities. And we get out on the hill and have volunteer instructors. Some kids use adaptive equipment and others don't need adaptive equipment. Some just need adapted instruction, or sometimes just the invitation to try something new and be included in the experience.
It sounds and it looks like y'all had a lot of fun up there. Yeah.
Can't complain. It's a great job, yeah.
And what's coming up next? You've got summer programs as well, right?
Yeah, quick turnaround to summer. We have a lot of cool things coming up this summer. So one of the things I'm most excited for is our adaptive cycling clinic. It's actually as part of the Northeast Cully neighborhood Sunday Parkways.
Oh, okay.
That the PBOT kind of heads up the whole thing. And so Sunday Parkways is a really cool community event where they open up the streets to cyclists and pedestrians. And so we will be hosting an adaptive cycling clinic with some other local adaptive organizations. And that's on June 16th. And then we have a few other things going on. We have some adaptive kayaking with a program called Adventures Without Limits. A lot of different, community partnerships. We'll do we have a camp out, a weekend camp out for kids with limb loss and limb differences coming up in July. So a lot of different programs.
Can you talk about what kind of kids are these programs suited for?
Good question. So I aim to make all of the programs adaptable and accessible for kids with all different types of disabilities. So some have kind of minimal physical disabilities, and some have quadriplegia and other, seizure disorders and things like that. And what's really important is that, a lot of these kids show up in the community and are told that even if something says it's accessible, maybe isn't really accessible for them. And so I try and set these kids and families up for an experience where they really will be included and it is accessible for them to engage in.
Yeah, and you are a recreational therapist.
Yes.
What does that mean exactly?
Good question, yeah. So it's like another allied health profession similar to occupational and physical therapy. I say the way I kind of phrase it is we use rec and leisure in two different ways. One is crafting opportunities that will lead to functional improvements, whether that's in our social skills, our physical functioning, or emotional functioning. And then another part of it is just adapting and creating opportunities where folks with disabilities and chronic illnesses can experience rec and leisure as a means to an end.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's just an important part of the overall care that a children's hospital would provide, right?
I absolutely agree, yeah. And I think that's something that's really special about Shriners Children's is that they embrace recreation therapy. We can have important orthopedic surgeries and go to our therapies, but bridging the gap between the hospital and the community, I think, is a really important part of care.
Yeah,
for sure.
Real quick, what's some feedback you get from kids and parents who go through these programs?
Good question. Actually, one recently, I work with a girl who's like in tween years and has started engaging in adaptive rock climbing and has physical disabilities that made it pretty difficult, but really pushes through every time she comes to climbing. And recently, I heard from her and her parents that when in other situations that are hard, she's kind of referenced back to the times that she's been rock climbing and said, like, she recognizes that was really difficult and I pushed through. And that means that in other places in my life I can push through as well, which is so cool.
No, that's great, that's great. And if you want to support the recreational therapy programs at Shriners Children's Portland, call 971-282-4606 or visit their website, shrinersportland.org. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back with more Hello Rose City. Don't go away.